Please confirm if you can see my screen. Okay. All right. So quickly. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's just start with introduction. So I'm Adewale Adeniyi, a graduate of computer science and education from the University of Benin. I am a certified data analyst, proficient using Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Power BI, SQL, and some basics in Python. I confidently use these tools in other fields of interest, like I use it in business intelligence analysis, I use it for public health analysis, I use it for human resources analysis, and the likes. So I am also a business analyst, became Scrum certified this year using the SBOK principle Babok guide for business development. So in summary, that is who I am. So quickly, let's just get straight into business. Okay, so please, I need to confirm if everyone saw the worksheet I sent to the group chat. Okay, that's fine. All right, so basically, I'll just take you through the journey of the Excel interface. So when we're talking about spreadsheets, or you want to talk about Excel or basically Excel, you know that you are working with rows and column. And when we say rows and column, the place I highlighted blue, these are my rows, and the one I highlighted as purple, that is column in Excel. So in Excel, Excel would definitely have a row and to definitely have a column. So looking at our ribbon, we have the home ribbon, and from the home ribbon, you can see you can do a lot of things from here. You can change the text, you can wrap text, you can merge center. You can do a lot of things from this end. Also, from the insert ribbon, that is where we have our pivot table. That is where we have our recommended pivot table. That is where we have the table itself, picture. That if you want to add picture to your Excel worksheet, you have online pictures. That's if you want to get your pictures from the web. Then you have shapes. For shapes, that's if you want to insert a shape or something. If I click on any shape, you can see that, but we're not going into that yet. And we also have smart art screenshot. That's if you want to screenshot your worksheet. We had a lot of things. Recommended charts. This is where our charts are located for pivot charts and all the likes. So when we get there, we work better with that too. We have the line, column, slicer, timeline. The slicer and timeline are basically when you are working with dashboards. So we are getting there. Also, we have the link. That's if you want to get any link or you want to get a data set from the web. Text box, header and footer. You all work with Microsoft Word. So you know what header means, you know what footer is. Signature line, object, equation, and symbol. So from this equation, we see a lot of mathematical equations here. Also, we can go to page layout, margin orientation, colors, font, effect. This is just like you want to design your page the way you want it to look like. You can do that here. We have the formulas also, Excel formulas. We have data. We can export data from web. You can import data from web, from test, from other sources, existing connections. New query. We are going to be working with new query too. That's the intermediate level, but we are not there yet. Um, what else? What else? Test to column. Okay, when we are working with cleaning of data, we'll be working with these data tools. And review. Nothing serious here. Then the view also. We have the formula bar. We all know that this is our formula bar. This is the formula bar. If I don't want to see the formula bar, I can move it. If I don't want to see grid lines, I can remove that also. And if I don't want to see header, I can also remove that. But we are not going into that yet. I basically use that when I'm building dashboards. So the power pivot and the likes. So quickly, we all know what rows and column. As I said, spreadsheets, they hold information in rows and column. So quickly, let's go to text functions. I've started. So please, if you have any question, don't hesitate to ask your question. So with this, we'll be working with favor your hands is raised. Anything? All right, that's fine. Okay, so what in summary of all I said was I said Excel work with rows and column. Yes, and I highlighted this. The blue part is my row, while the purple part is the column. Yes. So I said you store your data, you store anything in Excel. Spreadsheet basically stores information in rows and column. Then I was just explaining the Excel ribbon. So with that, I started with the home. So with this, I said we have a lot of things here. This is okay. Let's take an instance. I want to write Excel class, Excel class. Yeah, right. So and I want to extend this. I have this as a Excel class. Now from this my alignment, I can decide to have it here. I can decide to put it to be centered. I can decide to make it right centered. So depending on what you want to do. But basically, Excel stores text at the left center. So that's just that. We are not there yet. And I talked about merge center. I would explain that when I get there. Then going to insert, we have the pivot table, recommended pivot table. We have the table itself. We have pictures. Then I said for pictures, maybe you want to insert pictures to your Excel. You can do that here. And also, you can also insert picture from the web, but we're not doing that yet. And I said you can also insert shapes. We have a lot of shapes here too that you can do. Also, we can screenshots, yes, from them, visualize, blah blah blah. Recommended charts. So here is when we're working with pivot charts and all the likes. So when we get there, we'll talk better on that. Also, lines, columns, slicer, and timeline. So I said slicer and timeline is basically when you are building dashboard and you want to create connections between your charts. That is when you use slicer and timeline. Timeline is basically for just as it is called timeline, time range, maybe from 2020 to 2050. So when we get there, you know more about that too. Also, looking at the link, that's if you want to import a link from the web, text box, header and footer, just like your Microsoft Word, you have header and you have footer. And moving straight to page layout, we have the color, we have the font effects, and from the margin, that's if you want to. So from this page layout, basically, is just how you want your Excel worksheet to look like. Then from the formula also, we have a lot of formula. We have the auto sum and financial. We have different formulas. So sorry, I'm trying to admit some people in. All right. So from data, you can access data from web, you can access data from your access from test, even from your source. Then new query, I said we'll be working with new query today. That's the intermediate level. And also we'll be working with duplicate, test to column, and yeah, for the basics. And the review, okay, view. So I said something about this view. If I want to remove the grid line on this spreadsheet, you can tick that off. If I want to remove the headings, I can also do that. Then I can also remove the formula bar. Also, but we're not doing that yet. I basically do that when I'm building my dashboard. So I can have enough space to work with. So that is that. That is all I said on from the introductory part. So now we are moving to text function. So from this text function, I sent this data set to us. So and I'm sure everybody downloaded it. So quickly, Working with trim. Now, when we see this, you will see that the data is not clean. I'm having, bookcases. I'm having chair. I'm having some extra spaces in between chairs and chair mats. So we want to trim this. We want to trim this. We want to clean this. So how do we do that? Equals. We are using the trim function now. Trim. You can see one sweet thing about Excel is that when you are working with formulas or you want to do any text function, it gives you option. So from there, if at all you've forgotten, but you know that okay, I think this starts from T. So when it starts with T, it gives you options of the text functions that start with T. So but now we are dealing with trim. So once I click that, I go to you go to where you want to clean. I have the bookcases. So once I click on bookcases, you can see my bookcases is on A15. So since I have bookcases on A15, I close my bracket, then I press enter. So with this now, you can see that the space at the beginning of book has removed. Okay. Okay. A minute, please. I would share that again to the WhatsApp. Okay. So I've sent it again to the group chat. You can have access to it now. Favor, your hand is raised. Yes, exactly. Okay, so let me do that again. Trim. Sorry. I heard one thing about Excel. If you don't start with equals to, Excel doesn't see it as you want to calculate, you want to perform any calculation. So this is what I mean. If I just type trim, open my bracket, then I click on bookcases, you can see that it's not even going. So let's say I want to be stubborn. I know that okay, since my bookcases um is on A15. So when I say A15, this is A and this is column A and row 15. Did you get that? So because I don't have equal sign here, then I manually put my A15. If I close this bracket and press enter, you see it's not doing anything. So Excel doesn't see this as a calculation. So when you want to perform anything calculation or anything text function in Excel, you have to start with equals to. Do you understand that? So trim, open your bracket, then you click on where you want to start from. Bookcases. You can see immediately I have my A15. That is column A, row 15. Then after that, you close the bracket and press enter. Did you get that now? Okay, so we can auto fill everything since we have instead of writing for chairs, writing for computers, writing for binders. Now, can you all see my mouse? Okay, now we can see that we have a plus sign now. You have to drag your mouse to the extreme edge of this. You can see I now have a tiny small sign. Can you see that? So if I double click on this, it automatically fills the rest. Please, do you understand this? Okay. So that is that for trim. So um I would show my formula for people that are just joining. So for that, we'll do equals formula test. So I want to show the formula for C15. So that is the formula used. You should get that. So I'm just putting this down for people to see. You don't understand this part. Okay, okay, okay. So basically, what I'm doing is, we've cleaned this, we've used the trim function to clean this. So I'm just putting down the formula just for you to have access to it later. I'm just putting down the formula just for you to have access to it later. Do you understand that now? Okay, so it has nothing to do with that formula then. Okay, so this now we are going to clean. We are using the clean function for this aspect. And when we look at this data, we will look at the informations we have under clean. I can see that I'm having some extra, like some symbols that are not, some unprintable symbols. Let's take an instance at the beginning of before the P. We don't know what this is, so we want to clean this data. So to clean this data now, we are going to be using the clean function. The clean function, just as I said. Okay, so I want to do it manually now. So the clean function is on A, column A, and is on row 23. I close my bracket, then I close my bracket. Can you see now that the sign before the P has removed, right? So we're going to do the same thing with this also. You can just drag it here, and it will automatically fill in, clean the data set. So with that now, we are fine with this. So let me put down my formula. Okay, for this we have equals formula test, and so yes, that is the formula we used. I'm just putting down the formula down so you have access to it later. Yeah. So for substitute, now we have, okay, let's take an instance. You have a data set and, okay, someone drop a chart. Let me see. Okay, so Oluwatobiloba is asking, can the clean function also work as trim function? So basically what clean does is clean removes symbols, some characters that you have on your information or your data set. But for trim will only trim, let's say you have some extra spaces. Let's say we have yeah, extra spaces, just extra spaces. Let's take an instance. I'm having just like what we have here now, computer peripheral. We can see you have like three spaces before the computer peripheral. So what trim does is that it trims the data set. You get, but clean. It cleans the data set. It cleans the symbols, some extra characters or some unprinted symbols from a data set. That is what clean does. Just as the word clean, it cleans the data set. So, favor your hand is raised. What if what? Okay, that is not spelled correctly. Okay, if you are working with words that are not spelled correctly now, you have to work with um find and replace, because Excel does not know what she wants to, does not know the value of, does not know the, how am I going to put that now? Does not know the words you are trying to put down. Yes, let me use that. So you can just, since let's say you have a typo error from your data set, you can use the find and replace. We'll get there. We are not there yet. So what clean does is, we have some symbols that are not printed, that are not printable. Like this symbol now, I don't even know what the symbol is. We don't know, maybe this is hyphen or I don't know. So what clean does is that it look at your data sets and okay, I think I'm seeing some data or some symbols that are not printable or that are not available in Excel symbols. So what clean does is that it clean the data set. So that's just that with clean. So moving forward, we are working with substitute now. So for substitute, let's take an instance. We have just like what we have here now. We have version 1.0. Let's say you are working with an organization and your boss told you that, okay, I don't want to have this in version 1.0 again, but I want it to have replace it with version 1-0. Did you get that? So to do that, it's very easy. Instead of you doing it manually, it takes a lot of time. So what you can just do is you can use the substitute function. You need to pay attention to this. So working with substitute function, we write the substitute, open your bracket. Now, what am I substituting? One thing about Excel again is that once you click on your substitute, it gives you, or once you click on any text or any formula, it gives you guideline. Now you can see that immediately below my substitute here, I'm having test, I'm having old test, I'm having new test, and I'm having instance number. So this is as a guideline for you. It guides you. Okay, what am I going to do now? So it's asking me that the test, what am I substituting? I'm substituting version 1.0. I click on version 1.0. Now you can see that after the test, it's telling us that we should put a comma. I had my comma. Now it has moved to old test. Now what is the old test? Version 1.0. Note, if you are writing any test in Excel, you have to put it in, you have to quote it. So I've opened my double quotation mark, then I'm typing the old test, which is version 1.0, right? You can see after my version 1.0, it's telling me after the old test, it's telling us that we should add a comma. After the comma, then what do you want to change your version 1.0 to, which is the new test? Okay, I want to change my version 1.0 to version 1-0. I close this, then a comma. Now, instance number. When you're working with substitute, your instance number should be 1. I close my bracket, then I press enter. Can you see that now? It automatically changed 1.0 to version 1-0. So with this, because they are not having what's it called now? Because you're not changing it to same thing. If I should drag this down, it won't give me. Okay, that's fine. I was thinking it won't automatically autofill, but it actually did. Okay, so do you understand how I did this now? Any question for substitute? Any question for substitute? Favor your hand is raised. Yes, you must use one. Let's take an instance. If I use 0 or I want to use 6, let me say 0. If I press enter, you can see it's giving me an error message. So that is the function. Did you get that now? Even if it's function, exactly. Everything you use one. So I'll show the formula just for you to see. Formula used equals formula. Okay, so the formula used now 1.0, then I close my bracket. Once I press enter, so it will show the formula. Sorry. So can you see that? So can you see that when we go to, if we get to version 1-3, 1.3 now, looking at the formula, everything is still one, 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 one. So irrespective of what you are substituting at or what you are substituting to, that is the instance number, just one. So moving forward, now we want to work with proper concatenate, learn upper and lower case. So with this, I would love to open a new table. Okay, yes. From my angle, I didn't get that. Okay, so let me take that again. The normal value is 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4. And you want to substitute this to 1 dash 1, 1 dash 1, 1 dash 2, 1 dash 3, and 1 dash 4, right? Now, we only inserted the formula for this, saying substitute a version 1.0, then version 1 hyphen 0 to be 1. Yeah. So now I'm autofilling this based on this formula. So Excel is doing the back end. It's only telling me that this is the formula used, but if I'm to do that manually, I have to put 1 point. I have to put 1.1 here, and I have to put my 1-1. But because Excel is working with the formula I've inserted at first, so it's doing the back end that okay, it's looking at row 34, it is 1.1. So from Excel will know that okay, this person is auto-filling. And since it's auto-filling, we have 1.1. It automatically changes it to 1.1. The next one, 1.2, it changes 1.3. But it's only showing me the formula I used at the beginning. Do you get that now? But when you look at yes, you have to do it manually to put it dash. Did you get that? Yeah. So I'm just showing the formula. So because we have a lot of things to do and I don't want to spend too much time here. Okay, so now we want to do the proper concatenate, learn, upper and lower. So with this, let me open, I'm coming. Let me have another this thing here. And let me just put this. Okay, so starting with proper, if you look at Lagos now, let me be putting it here so we won't get confused. I'm working with proper. Yeah. So looking at Lagos, we see that Lagos is they are all cap. That is all cap, all cap, all cap, all cap. Lagos is written in uppercase. The cities are written in uppercase. Now I want to use the proper function now. And when we say proper function, proper means I would have my initials as cap, then the rest will be in lowercase, right? So let's go straight into proper. Equals proper. Then what do I want to do? That is A43. Then I close my bracket, I press enter. Can you see now that Lagos has changed from all uppercase to initials as cap and the rest is small letter? So if I drag it down, exactly. So that is that for proper. Let me bold this. Control B. Okay. That is for proper. Now I want to um concatenate. Okay, before concatenate, I'll put the concatenate to be later. Let's work with the let me see. Okay, let's do concatenate equals concatenate. Now when you see what am I concatenating? It's showing test one. So what's my test one? Let's say I want to put Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria. So the first one will be Lagos, right? I had a comma. Now he's asking me for text two. I want to concatenate it with Nigeria. Now, if I close my bracket and press enter, you can see this doesn't make sense yet. There's no space between Lagos and Nigeria. It's merging them together, right? So how do we do that? How do we insert space in between Lagos and Nigeria? It's very easy. So to do that, instead of writing concatenate C4 and that, I open my bracket again. I'm concatenating Lagos. I'm adding a comma, a space. Now I'm open a I have to open what's it called now? A double quotation with a comma, then I had Nigeria. If I close this and press enter, you can see we now have Lagos space Nigeria. So what this space is actually talking about is, before we just add C43 comma B43. But now I'm telling Excel that after you pick C43, I want you to put a space in between C43 and B43. That is why I opened this double quotation mark and I added a space in between the double quotation. Now let's now take an instance. Instead of the space, I added a comma in between the double quotation and I press enter. Can you see that I have Lagos, comma, Nigeria? So irrespective of what you want your concatenated value to look like, you have the power to do that by yourself. But me, okay, probably if you are writing a sentence or a letter, Lagos, comma, Nigeria, I think that's fine. So let's just leave it in Lagos, comma, Nigeria. And if you want to leave it as Lagos space Nigeria, you can also do that as well. So let's drag this, we drag this, and it automatically fills the rest. So that's for sorry. Okay. Control Z. This should be here. I'm using concatenate. Concatenate. Okay. Bold. Then this is where the formula would be. Concatenate Lagos, comma. I open this, add a comma to it. Then I'm concatenating with Nigeria. Then I close it and I press my enter. Okay. So it autofills that too. Okay. So now I want to now when we say learn means you want to get the number of characters. Lagos, Lagos. That is 5 characters, right? So let's take an instance. I want to get the characters for my cities. I want to get the length now. So that is when you use your length. That is, you want to count the characters that are present in your data. So using the len, Control B, we have equals. Let me move a bit. So we have equals len. Open your brackets now. What do I want to count? Let me just pick Nigeria. That's F43. Once I close my bracket and I press enter, it's telling me that Nigeria has 7 characters. Now, excluding Nigeria, if I autofill these two, I see that Brazil is having 6 characters. South Africa is having 12 characters. Brazil, 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 Brazil. So that is that. Also, um, okay, so going to upper now, Upper, Control B. Now I want to change Lagos to uppercase. That is, I don't want to have initials as cap and the rest as lowercase. I want everything to be in uppercase. So it's very easy. You can just put equals upper. Then I click on Lagos. I close my bracket and I press enter. You can see it has changed Lagos back to all cap. You can also do that for the rest. So let me increase this. Okay. So that is for upper. Then for the lower case now, Control B. Let's now take, okay, I don't want to have Lagos in all cap, but I want it to be in low cap. Yeah. I just put equals to lower. I press my tab to do that automatically. I click on Lagos. I close my bracket and you can see that Lagos has now changed to lowercase. I think we are done with that. Proper concatenate. Okay. So I'm done with that. Don't worry, I'll share you this worksheet after the class so you can have access to it as well. Now we want to work with sample date. This one, I really don't have much to say here. I've written the formula here already. So let's take an instance. I want to have my date, and the date is showing me as 6/25/2022. Where am I? And we know that 6 is June, right? That is same. It's telling me that 25th of June 2022. So how do I do that? Equals, I have my test. Now, what do I want to, what test am I doing? A55, comma. Now in Excel, I want to start with month. If I just put M, I had my comma, then I put DDD, I had my comma, then Y, and I close this and I close my bracket and I press enter. You can see we have June Saturday 2022. But if I want to have my June, like, okay, Excel, I want you to give me the full month. Like, I don't want you to use abbreviations now. So it is very easy. Your you have to have 4M. That is M. Yes. Then the day, after the day and the year. If I press enter, you can see now that it's showing me the full distance for June. It's not showing as JUN again. It's showing me the full test for June. Now let's not say Saturday. Ezel, I want you to show me that. Okay, I don't want you to abbreviate Saturday. Give me the full test for day. Then I just add my 1D. So I have 4M, I have 4D, and I have 4Y. If I press enter, you can see it automatically change that to June Saturday 2022. Let me increase this. So if I have that, if I autofill, let's go. Exactly. That is that. So now we are moving to text to column. For text to column, look at this text now. We have Sandra.malanda at careerinsight.tv. Okay, so I want to split this into columns. I want to split them. Okay, someone is asking to let in or in. I think I've allowed you in. Okay, let me see if I have anyone to join the class. Let me accept them in. Okay. All right. So let's continue. So for text to column, I already created an extra. What's it called? I created my table here. So I'll be working with this. Now I have Sandra.malanda at career.insight. So what do I actually want to do? I want to have just Sandra.malanda to be on one column, and I want at careerinsight.tv to be on one column, and also I want to have the first name as Sandra to be on another column and the last name on another column. It's very easy. So what are we going to do? First of all, just as the word text to column. So we're using our text to column. Now, for text to column, you have to highlight where you want to work with. So I already highlighted my text to column. Then I move to, I click on, what's it called? I click on data from my ribbon. After data, can you all see my mouse? Can we see where we have this text to column? Sorry, are you still with me? Okay. So text. Okay. So once you highlight it, you go to data, you click on data from your Excel ribbon. Then from data, you go straight to where you have text to column. So once I click on text to column, now it's asking me, what do you want to do? Choose the file type that best describes your data. Now we have delimited, then we have fixed width. Now we are working with delimited. It's telling me that characters such as commas or tabs separated each field. Now, if I click on next, it's asking me, how do I want to, what am I splitting? Now, when we look at this now, I want to have Sandra.malanda to be on one column, right? Yes. So it will ask me, where should I start my um where should I start the delimiter from? If you say from semicolon, that is if you have semicolon, that is if you have semicolon. But when we look at this, we can see that we have this sign at. So I click on order, then it's asking me what is the delimiter function. I had the at. Now you can see the data preview. Let me cancel this. From this data preview now, you can see Sandra.malanda at whatever, still showing exactly the way it is from our test column. So immediately I click on at. Can you see now? I now have Sandra.malanda separately. Then I have career dot career insights separately too. So if I click on next, now it's asking me destination. Where do I want to paste this data? Because we just highlighted it here. If I should say it should be on this A63, to tell me that there's an existing data on that spreadsheet. So now we just have to locate it in another destination. That is why I created this table here too. So once you click on this arrow sign, it's telling me to pick. So I'll just click on this. Immediately it's changed from, okay, let me accept you. Immediately we have what? Age 69. Exactly. I'm on column H and I'm on row 69. Exactly. So once I do that, I go back here, then I press finish. There's already data. Do you want to replace it? Okay. Do you understand that? Now we see that we have Sandra.malanda in one column, and we have okay. Control Z. So now we want to do text to column. We have Sandra.malanda at careerinsightstv.tv. Oh, sorry, at careerinsight.tv. And I want to have it in different 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 column. Okay. So to do that, I said we stay on our cell on the text dot column. Now I highlight the part I want to work with. After highlighting it, when once you highlight, your ribbon is always on your home page. Now I've highlighted. Let me highlight again. I'm taking it step by step now. I've highlighted. I click on data. Then I click on text to column. I'm adding a delimiter. I'm not doing fixed width now. We are working with delimited. So for delimited, you click on next. After clicking on next, You see, because I've done that before, let me just cancel it. Let me cancel this. So let's take an instance. Let me change it to, so you understand better, to full stop. If I change it to full stop, you can see that we have Sandra from the data preview. It has separated Sandra from Malanda. That is, I'm telling it that okay, after full stop, I want you to merge the rest, but I want any value or any characters before the full stop to be on one column and the rest in another column. But that is not what we want to do. We want to delimiter by this. Then we click on next. After that, it's asking me destination, because Excel knows that I'm still on this same spot. I'm still on text dot column. So it's asking me now, where do you want to locate, or where do you want your file to be located? Where is the destination? So to do that, I'll just tell Excel that okay, since there's something on A63, you just look for one empty space. Okay, let me don't work with what I have here now. I click on this arrow now. Once I click on this arrow, I can easily come here. I see that okay, there's nothing here. I click on A72. Can you see that? So I come back here, I have my A72, and I click on finish. Can you see? It's separating it now. Standard Malanda on one column, career insight.tv on another column. But still, doesn't make any sense yet. Sandra.malanda is looking like, how am I going to say that now? It's looking um, like a male. But no, I want Sandra, excuse me, I want Sandra as the first name, and I want Malanda as the last name without the full stop in between them. So what are we going to do? I come back here, I highlight this, I go back to my text to column, then I'm adding delimiter. Now I'm changing this to full stop. I click on next. It's asking me for destination again. So for destination, if at all you don't want to click on that, I can just come here and say, okay, I want you to stay. Okay, click on the arrow. Then I say, come to C72. Yeah. If I click on finish, we have it. Sandra on one column, Balanda on another column. So I want to add one more thing to it. You know, we've worked with concatenate before. So now I don't want to have it as, let me say this is the first name and this is the last name. Okay, so because of time, I want to say, okay, I don't want to have first name and last name, but I just want to have it as full name. Like that is, I want Sandra and Malanda to be concatenated. I want them together in one column. So with that, I'll just come here again. Very easy. We've worked with concatenate. I just say concatenate. What am I concatenating? Sandra, comma. Then I had my space, comma, with Malanda. Then I close this. Once I press enter, you can see that both Sandra and Malanda are now on one column. I can autofill this. I come here, I increase this. So in Excel, you can manipulate your data the way you want it to look like. You have the power to do anything. Yes. So that is that for text to column. So I believe you all understood this. So when you say immediately you see stuffs like this, I can know that okay, this is Sandra does Malanda at this. And they asked me that, okay, the boss came to you. NK. So I want you to, split this into column. I want Sandra to be to be the first name. I want Malanda to be the last name, and I want careerinsight.tv to be the domain. So it shouldn't take you 2 minutes to do that. So that is that for text function. So before I move to aggregation function, do you have any question on text function? I'm attending to questions now. Any question? Okay, so I feel we are all fine with it then. So let's just continue. Wow, I have professionals here. Excuse me. So now we are moving to aggregation function, just like the word aggregate. Summary. You want to summarize. You want to aggregate. Yes. So let's take an instance. You are working in a sales. You are working with the sales department, and you have products. Okay, I didn't work with. Okay, from this part now. Sorry, one more thing. I forgot to do this. If you look at this, identify and remove duplicates. We didn't touch that. So now when we look at this, we see we have appliances, we have binders and binders accessories. It appears twice, right? If you look at bookcases, we have chairs and chairmate computer, chairs and chairmate also and chair mat also appeared twice. Now this is a duplicate. If you are working with data sets, your data should be valid. Accuracy of data, validity of data, it is very, very, very compulsory and important. Now, looking at it very well, you see that, let me highlight on my bind and accessories. We will see that we have same value for everything. So that probably, maybe there's a overlay of words. Anything can happen. Woman makes mistakes. So now, when you look at this, you see, okay, and the boss is not telling you that, okay, who do I have here? Oluwatobiloba, please, I want you to remove the duplicate from this data set. It shouldn't take you, instead of you doing it manually, and I come here, I delete, I come here, I delete. It takes a lot of time. So with that, let me put this back. Okay. To do that, just highlight on this. Once I highlight on your data field now, you will see remove duplicates. Can you all see that from your angle? Once you click on remove duplicate, Excel ask you, do you want to expand the selection? Now what it means is that, do you just want to remove the duplicate on product alone, or you want it to expand to January, February, March, April, May, June? The choice is mine. If I click on, okay, let's work on the two. Let's say continue with the current selection. If I click on remove duplicate and I click, it will only remove the duplicate from the product. Now we now see that our data is not well organized. I'm having some extra, like 105.79 in January. It has no product. So how do we do that? We come back here, remove duplicate. Now I'm expanding the selection. Now once I click on remove duplicate, you can see that it's showing me the columns in that um destination. That is, I want to remove the duplicate from product from January, from February, March till June. Once I click on OK, it's telling me that two duplicate values found and removed. We now have 6 unique value. Once I click on my OK, you can see perfect. So let's go back to our aggregation function. So I have product appliances and I have January. I am working in the sales department and I want to know the sum for January. Oh, sorry. Total. Let me put it as total. I want to know the total sum in January. Once I have that, I just click on my OK. I use the sum function. Then I'm now telling Excel, I want you to calculate everything in January. You see, I have my B3. It's of two ways. I can drag it down to B8. If I close this bracket and I press enter, it's telling me that I have 2,905. And if I don't want to do that, if I don't want to drag, probably I already know where my data is. I can just say, okay, first appliances is on B3. I had my column, and I say, okay, the last this thing is on B7. Okay. on B8. Exactly. I close this, I press enter. Do you want to accept this correction? Yes. Can you see that now? So you can easily drag or you can do it manually. The same way with this, once you drag this here, it automatically fills everything, which makes life more easier. So that is for the sum. Okay, let me do total sum. Yeah, total sum. Now let's do um total max. Total max. So I'm asking, let's now take an instance now. Your boss is asking you that, okay, hey, looking at the product sold from January to June, what product has the highest price or highest whatever it is? So with that, I could just say, okay, instead of me looking at it manually, that okay, I have I have 496, I have 290, 239, 500, 557, 991, 100. Instead of doing that, I can just easily tell Excel that, okay, Excel, I want you to get the maximum value from this data set. I drag it down, then I close this. Excel is telling me that 991 has the highest value, and which is the computer peripheral. So if I drag it, you see, it's telling me that from this now I have 113 still computer conference. Then from 51, which is bookcases in March, bookcases has the highest. Then for this 18, that's chairs and chair mats. So that's for the total max. That if you want to get the total, the max of anything, the maximum number or the maximum value of anything. So we want to get the minimum now. Let's now think, okay, hey, I want you to get the product that has the minimum sales so we could know what is happening or we know where to put our focus on. So that shouldn't be a problem too. From that, oops, sorry. So from that, control B, then I come here. I'm now asking Excel, okay, I want you to get me the minimum value in this range. Now he's telling me that in January, 100 is the minimum in January, which is copiers and fax. So with that, I can as well drag it. You will see that we have 000, and that appears in copiers and fax too, which has the minimum. So that's that for minimum. Now let's not take an instance, you want to get the average sales for January. That is, you want to know the average, total average. Okay. With that, equals average. I want to get the average of this. Then I have this. Then I press. Then I press enter. Now, so Excel has automatically done the calculation for me. So it's showing me that the average for from January appliances to compares and facts, the average is 48 484.17. That is the average. Now, if I also want to get the okay, now let's not say I want to use the count. I want Excel to count the products. Working with count now. I want Excel to count. Now, what do Excel want to count? Let's say we have appliances, binders, bookcases, chairs and chair mats, computer peripheral, and we have the compilers, compilers and facts. So I want Excel to count the products we have available in our company. So to do that, I can easily say equals count. What am I counting? I want to count this. Oops, sorry. So with that now, it's showing me that I have six products: appliance, binders and binders accessories, bookcases, chairs and chair mat, computer peripheral, computers and fax, which is six. So if at all I drag this, it will still be six, 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 six. Now, working with counter, let's see what counter does. Let's see what counter does. Equals, okay, I want to work with counter, value one, let me say this, comma, and I want to do this because I only picked two. So now I want to tell you the difference between count and counter. So let me do this with this. Let me just drag down. Okay, yeah. Now the difference between count and counter. Count don't count test, but counter count test. That was why it gives me an error the other time. So when you are using counter, it means I want to count strange. What are strange? They are characters, not numbers now, not numerical values, but um, yeah, strange, not numerical. So with this now, let me just let's take an instance now. I have Nike, I have Itunu, I have NK, I have Toby, I have Favor. Oops, sorry. I have Favor. Yeah. So with this now, and I want to count the number of names. Let's say we have names here. Control B. Now I want to count the number of names present here. I'll just say equals counter. Then I drag it down. I close this. I press enter. It's telling me that I have five names. Now, let's say I have two, four, six, two, one. I now use the word counter again. Equals counter. I want to show you what counter does now. It will give me an error or it will just put zero. Oh, wow, that's cool. But if I use what's it called? If I use count now for this numeric, it still count. That's good. That's nice. That's nice. Equals count. I'm coming. Then I do this. Exactly. So now you see that count only counts numbers, does not count text. But because I highlighted test here as per Nike, Ituno, NK, Toby, and Favor, it's giving me zero. That is telling me that I don't have any numerical value here. So Excel automatically sees it as zero. So that we already know the difference between count and counter. So let me just delete this. Yeah. So now we are moving to Excel table. We are moving gradually. Gradually. Now we need to know the difference between a table and a sheet. Any question? Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see that. Okay. Okay. That's fine. So we have names, and let's say, let me have scores. Yeah. Okay. And for the names, I have NK, I have Itono, I have Favor, I have Toby, What else is here? I have Adebayo. Then I have Fidelia. I have Dolapo. Yeah, let's just work with that. So let's not say we have 23. Just picking randomly, so don't mind me this call. Okay, okay. So we have this now. So I was talking about the difference between count and counter. If you are working with count, I said count would only count. Okay, let me do it this way now. I want to count this test, and I click this. I press OK. It's giving me zero. Why? Because count does not count test. It only count. It does not count strange. It only counts numerical value. Now, let me now say, I'm using the same count now. Equals count. I'm now highlighting the scores. Then I press enter. It's telling me that I have seven rows in scores. But I really want to know the number of names here. So what do I do? Count is giving me zero. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? There's a way out. We can use counter. So for counter, it tells me that, hey, Toby, you have seven names present in this data set. So that is what counter does. That is just the difference between counter. But one thing about counter, I think counter counts for both test and number. Let's see. Exactly. So counter works for the both. But if you are working with count, count will only work for numerical values. It does not work for this. So let me just put in the formula. Equals formula. I won't delete this again. Formula test and see the formula for this. Okay. So NK, please, do you understand now? Okay, that's fine. All right. So working with Excel tables, we need to know that when I see this thing, is this an Excel table or a sheet? Let me let's take an instance. I'm staying on January. Okay, let me stay off the cell. Okay, so I want you guys to look closely on my ribbon now. Before we have file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, help, pivot, power pivot, and tell me what you want to do. Now, immediately I click on January from this table. We now see that we have an icon for table design. So this will tell you that this is a table. But also, sometimes I can duplicate this, but it is not a table. Let's do that. Let's take an instance. I have products. I have products. I have January. I have February. Oops. Products. Then I have January tab. I have February tab. I have March. I have April. Then I have May and I have June. Right? And let's say I have appliances here. I have binders. I have book. I have a bookcase. I have chairs. Then I have computer. And I have fax here. Okay. Let me just increase this. Okay. So let's take an instance. I'm just picking randomly, and I've skipped this randomly. Yep. Random. I've skipped this. Okay. Okay. Oops. 36. Okay, let's say we have this tab, then we have this. Sorry, we have we have that. You can come here, just drag this down. Yeah, it's fine. So now I want to show you the difference between table and this thing. I want to duplicate this thing we have here. I highlight this, okay. Then I press Ctrl Shift L. Then I highlight this. Then I come here and I say, okay, I want to have this blue. Then I come here. I say I want to have a light blue. I come here. I come here. Let's have same light blue. Oops, oops, nope, 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 nope. Light blue. I come here, and let's say we want to have this too. So I just want to show you the difference between a table and a sheet, how to identify it. Now, okay, it's still not looking the same yet, and I highlight it again. I come to um where we have this thick outside border. So if I click on this and I put all border, once I click on all border, now can you see that these two looks alike, right? Sorry, are you with me? Okay, now if I stay on February here, you can see we have table design here, right? And if I stay on January yet, on this other place, there's nothing like table design, but they look alike. So that is how you know if a um a spreadsheet is a table, whether it's a table or a sheet. Once you click on it, it gives you everything. So once I have this, I can just say, okay, 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 okay. This is actually a table. And because it's a table, I can change the color. I can do anything I want to do with it. But when once I come here, it's not showing me same function. That is telling me that this is not a table, but this is a table. So now you now understand the difference between a table and a sheet. Any question? Any question on that? NK, your hand is still raised. Okay. All right, so that's just the difference between table and spreadsheet. So once you're working with table, and one sweet thing about table again, I forgot to mention that. So let's take an instance. let's take okay, let's take an instance. I want to let's see. Okay, excuse me. Let me copy what I have here. Control C. Then I want to paste it here. Yeah, that's fine. Then I come here. Okay, let's do this first. Then we have the grade. So now I want to do some formula or some DAX formula, or I call it. I want to do some coding now. Don't be scared. Let me do this all border. Yeah. So I have this now. So let's take an instance. Since I'm working with grade, let me change my value. Let me put this as 70. Let me put this as 65. Let me do this as 45. Let me do this as 50. Let me do this as 89. Let me see A, B, C. Okay. And let me just do this as let's see. I've done 70, 65, 8. Okay, let's just say a 90. Um and this person is having 13. Yeah, 23, I mean. So now I have this, and I want to get the grades for this score. Instead of me saying, okay, 70 is A, 65 is B, doing it manually, you can as well write some function to do that. So now, let's go. Once I click equals to, we'll be using our if statement now. If I say if this score is equal to, let me start with, let me see, okay, let's do it this way. If this score is less than or equals to 45, now it's telling me, comma, value if true. If it's less than 45, I want you to print E. Else, if same value again is now less than or equals to um 45b, is less than or equals to 50, comma, then I want you to see this as C. Another if this is less than or equals to, now I want to do for B, is less than or equals to, let me see, um okay, this, let's do this one is less than or equals to 59. Yeah, so this will now be less than or equals to 69, comma, then I want you to see it as B, comma, another if. Okay, since I already have for B, then there's no need of me putting if again. Then I just say, then else if, let it be A. Then I close my bracket and press enter. Oh, sorry, we have to close your bracket. Now it's telling me that how many if statements did we open? We have one, two, three. So definitely I'm going to close my bracket 3 times. Then I press enter. Immediately it's telling me that this is A. Now if I drag it down, you can see that 45 as D, 50 as C, 89 automatically sees it as A, 90 sees it as A, 23 it sees it as D, based on the formula. Now I now want to show you now. Let's now take an instance. I put it this way, then I want to insert table. My table has header, yes. Now I want to remove this, and I want to insert table to my right. I want to name this as grade, Yeah, that's fine. So if I'm renaming this as grade, let me remove the border so it won't look confused. No border now, no border, no border, no border. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So now I want to put in the same formula. I want to put in the same formula I did when it was not a table. I want to add it now when it is now a table. I want to show you what a table does and what a sheet does. Working with table is actually very, very sweet. Makes life more easier. Equals to, once I go, if I go with this, now you see that's changed it to scores. Now I'm saying that if this score now is less than or equals to 45, hey bro, I want you to see this as B. Else if same one is less than or equals to 50. No, 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 no. For C now, C would be 45. For C is less than or equals to 59, comma. Then I want you to see this as C. Then I'm not stopping there. I'm not telling you that, okay, let's continue. Let's do for A. If again you see this, and is less than or equals to 69, comma, I want you to see this as B. Don't forget to put it in quotation. Don't forget to quote it. Yeah. See this as B. Then else, any other thing aside above 69, see it as A. Then I close my bracket. Immediately I press enter. Oh, sorry, I didn't close the whole bracket. So you need to be very cautious of how many if statements you opened. I think that's all. Now, one sweet thing about table, I don't have to autofill. It autofills by itself. Once I press enter, can you see that? So when you are working with table, it autofills itself instead of it start dragging. Most times I tell people, what if you are working with 10,000 rows? What will you do? So if you're working with 10,000 rows, so far you've converted your sheet to table, whatever thing or whatever manipulation you want to do, once you press enter, it automatically fills the rest. So for reference purposes, let me just pin my formula here. Formula test this. Yeah. So I just pin the formula just for reference purposes. Okay. So I think I'm done with that. So, what is a primary key and foreign key? This is not in the what's it called? It's not in the worksheet I sent to you earlier on. So I'm going to forward this to you later. Don't be scared. So a primary key is the column that contains, this is a typo error, that contain value that uniquely identify each row in a table, while foreign key is a column that is used to establish a link between the data in two tables to control the data that can be stored in the foreign key table. So I know when you're working with theory, it might be looking abracadabra-ish, but I will still explain what I'm doing here. Then fact table and dimension. A fact table works with dimension table. A fact table holds the data. Sorry, there's a typo error here. A fact table holds the data to be analyzed, and a dimension table stores data about the ways in which data in the fact table can be analyzed. So that is Excel basics now. We are moving gradually. So now I think I sent you this sales data executive report. So with this now, we'll be working with the primary key and the foreign key. But before I start, just as I said, it is better to work in table than to work in sheet. If you look at this thing now, the data are stored in sheet, not in table. So to do that, stay on any cell. Once I've stayed on any cell, press Ctrl A. Please don't get it wrong. If I stay outside, and I press Ctrl A, it would highlight the whole of Excel worksheet. See, it will highlight the whole of Excel worksheet. That way you have error. But stay on either of the cell. Now I'm staying on sales team index. Either of it, you can stay on any cell, you can stay on this, you can stay on this. Just make sure you are staying on the cell. Then you press Ctrl A. After you press Ctrl A, then you press Ctrl T. It's telling me my table has header. Once I click on OK, you can see automatically it changes to what? Table. And I have a table. So for that, let's do that for all the sheets we have here. Ctrl A, Ctrl T, you press enter. On our product table too, we click on any of the cell, Ctrl A, Ctrl T, then you press enter. Then you also come here, stay on any cell, Ctrl A, Ctrl T, and you press enter. So once you do that, you stay on sales table. Now, another thing is when you're working with table, you have to rename your table because now we want to do some advanced Excel now. So with this, I click on either of it. I go to table design. Now, table name, it's showing as table one. So with this now, I want to rename it as, since I'm on sales table, then I'm renaming this as sales table. Okay. I would also come here. I'll rename this to as sales team, sales team table. I go to the next one. I rename this as product table, yeah. And I go to the last one, which is store location. I rename the store location as, let me just say the store table. Yeah, store table. Once I've renamed everything, now I want to work on primary key and foreign key. And I want to work on fact table and dimension. Fact and dimension table. Now, if you look at this data set, we have sales table, we have sales team, we have products, and we also have the store location. I want to build relationship between these four tables. How am I going to do that? The first thing I need to do is I need to identify the fact table. Now, once I say fact table, that is what table is holding the whole information, and I need to know which of the table will now be my dimension table. Now, once I get the fact table, the other table will be my dimension table. Now, excuse me, to get that, looking at the sales table now, we have the order number, we have the sales date, we have the sales channel, we have currency, we have sales team index, we have store index, we have product index, we have the order quantity, we have the unit price, and we have the unit cost. And for sales team, you just have index, sales team, and region. For product, you just have index, product name, and product category. While for store location, we have name, country, stage code, state, type, latitude, and the likes. Now, what do you notice from this data set? I know that for my sales table, I have sales date, I have sales team index, I have store index, and I have product index. And looking at this, for my sales team, I have index. And for my sales table, I have store sales team index. Making sense. If I go to product now, I have index for my product. And looking at this sales table, I have a column for product index. Another thing. Looking at my store location, I have ID. Excuse me. And looking at what's it called now? Looking at my what's it called? Looking at my sales table, I have order quantity. So now, what do you notice? Which of these would be our primary key and which of these would be our foreign key? We already know that sales table now is our fact table. Let me put it here. This is our fact table. Now, so far we've gotten our fact table and we want to get foreign and primary key. And to get foreign and primary key, a key, okay, let me go back to this so I don't get it complicated. A primary key is the column that contains value that uniquely identify each row in a table. Let's take an instance. I have my account number. you have your account number. Or let's take an instance. We have Adeniyi now, Adewale as the name, and I now have account number. So let's take an instance. We have two people bearing Adeniyi Adewale, right? Now, from the account number, I want to try to explain what a primary key is now. So let's take an instance. This account number is 00929 blah 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 blah. Well, it's too much. Let me just say the account number now is 00223. And this person's okay, 1 2 4, okay. And let's now say this person's account number is 1 2 4 5 6. Enter. Now, if I'm to do this, they have the same name, but the account number is different, right? This shows that your account number is your what? Unique identifier. Uniquely identifies you that okay, this account number belongs to this person, while this account number belongs to the other person. Two persons cannot share same account number. Never. So your account number is your primary key that uniquely identifies you as the rightful owner of that account. So now, looking at the sales table. So do you have any questions so I don't walk too fast? Any question, please? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to see. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so let's move on. So with this now, we would now see. Okay, I'm trying to see some people who are messaging. They are dropping some message here. So let me just try to attend to them quickly, 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 quickly. All right, so let's just continue. So now I want to create relationship between these data sets. How will I do that? How am I going to create relationship? I already know that my sales table is my fact table. Then from this sales team, I have index. This index with the primary key for sales team. Now, a primary key would become a foreign key on the fact table. I have sales team and I have index. But for my sales team here, we have sales team index. So this now is uniquely identifying the index from the sales team table. Hmm. Did you get that? And when we look at our fact table again, we have product index, which is uniquely identifying the index, the primary key from the product table. So the index from product table is the primary key. But from the sales table now, it becomes our foreign key because we want to create a relationship between them. Now from the store location, we have ID. And from the sales table, we have what? We have the order quantity. Sorry, a minute, please. Okay. So working with that, we already know which is our fact table, and we already know which is our dimension table, and we already know what a primary key and a foreign key. We already know which is uniquely identifying um, a primary key on its table, and from the fact table it becomes a foreign key, right? So from this store location now, from our sales table, it is our store index. Where is the store index? Yeah, I almost get this wrong. So this is store index and this is store location. ID is uniquely identifying the store index from the fact table. Now, let's go straight into our relationship. So let me delete this. Okay. So now to build your relationship now, you go to data. Once you click on data, now you click on relationship. Once I click on relationship, you click on new. Once you click on new, now it's asking you pick the table and column you want to use for this relationship. Once I click on this, you now see, thank God I renamed my table. Had it been I didn't rename the table, I will have table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, which I would find difficult to identify which is my sales table, which is my sales team table, which is my product table, and which is my store location. But because I've renamed it, I already know that my fact table now, all my relationship is coming from the sales table. Now, related table. What is my related table? I'm relating it now with sales team. I have it here, sales team table. Now it's asking me, what is the foreign key? You know, I told you from the sales table, it's if a primary key would become foreign key from the fact table. Now it's asking for the foreign key. What is the foreign key? You know, we are working with sales table and sales team now. No, from here now, we say the foreign key is sales team index, but the main primary key is index. I click on OK. That is that for that. We are not done yet. I click on new. We already know all our dimension is coming from the fact table, and our fact table is the sales table. Then related table, I'm working with product table now. With the product table now, what is the foreign key? We have the product index. Yes. Now, what is the primary key? The primary key is what? Index. I click on OK. Because we are not done yet, I had another one, new. Once I click on new, I click on the table. Now, our fact table is what? Sales table. Now, the related table now is store, yeah, store table. Now, what is the foreign key for this, which is the store index? Yes. Then from this, we have it as ID. Then I click on OK. Now, I have made justice to my relationship. I click on close. Immediately I click on close. Now we want to work with the pivot table. You go to insert, you go to your pivot table. Now it's asking me, choose where you want this pivot table report to be placed. I want it to be placed on new worksheet. And remember, we've created relationship. Don't forget, choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables. Yes, we are analyzing multiple tables, which is the sales table, sales team table, product table, and store location. So you have to click on this, add this data to my data model. You click on it, then you press OK. Immediately you press your OK. If you look at the right side with your pivot table field, once you click on all, can you see now? Now we have both the product table, we have the sales table, we have the sales team table, and we have the store table. So with this now, if you are working in a sales department or yeah, if you're working in a sales department or whatever department you are, and you want to analyze, you want to see the flow, you want to see the flow of your sales. You know, sometimes when once if you visualize, you get to see insights. So let me just make some few what's it called now? Some few visuals. So let's go to our fact sales table. Now from the sales table we have Sales team, blah. We have the sales. This okay. Let me go to product table. Yeah. So we have product category and we have the product name. So let's take an instance. I want to see the product category. I drag my product category to rows and I want to see the sales. So I want to see the I'm coming. I want to see I'm coming. Let me see my sales team, my sales table, sales channel, currency, store index, store, and okay, let me just say I want to see the unit cost or unit price for the product category. And I drag my unit price here, right? So once I have this, it's showing me that from accessories I have this, but this is not looking what's it called? It's not looking readable. So what do? You stay on this sum of profit, sum of unit price. Once you right click on it, you go to number format. Now we are working with sales now. We go to currency and I just want to have it in one decimal place. So from this symbol now, we have different currency. Let's take an instance, I want to work with naira. You have to look for where naira is. Yes. Um, they all have the same sign, sha. Let me just pick one. And so once I click on OK, can you see that? So this now I already know that okay, I have 529,000 for this, I have 325,000 for this, for that. So with this, still I must still find it difficult to know which product has the highest unit price. So with that, I can just say, okay, since this is the case, let me just add a pivot chart to it. A pivot chart, let me work with a column chart, and I click on OK. I come here, but still it's not well organized, but I already know that decoratives has the highest unit price. So I can as well come here, I right click, I can sort it from largest to smallest. So immediately we sort from largest to smallest, you can see now that okay, I did that. Okay, decorative has the highest, followed by furniture, followed by kitchenery, electronics, and I see that beddings has the least of the unit price. So this is just that for making visuals. Now, because we're able to achieve this, because we already make relationships between the two data sets. Remember that I picked. Remember that I picked what's it called? I picked from product and I picked from the sales table. So had it been we didn't make a connection between them, then it will be very difficult for us to pick from either of the tables to work with multiple tables. But because we've created relationships with them, we make a connections between the tables. That is why we've seen it very, it's looking easy for us to work with. So since that is the case, let's say and let me see. I already have this, and let's now go back here now. Depending on how many charts I want to see, I can as well come back here. I go to insert, pivot table, then I go to new worksheet, add this to my data model. Once I click on OK, immediately you click on OK. Let's now take an instance. I want to see um, the product name itself. So I'm dragging product name to row, and I want to see the unit cost. Okay, let me see the other quantity now. That is how many of it, other quantity. So I'm seeing that okay, let me sort this too from largest to smallest. So I would know which product name has the highest. So from here we see that clocks, it has the highest quantity sold, followed by cookware, followed by vases and blah 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 blah. But I don't really want to do that. I don't want to work with this. But rather, let's work with the product category. Yes, and the other of quantity sold. So with this, I can as well, since it is quantity sold, it is not currency. You can as well leave it like this, and we can sort it from largest to smallest. And with that, you can as well do your pivot chart. And I can as well say, okay, I want to do bar chart with this. So if I say I'm doing bar chart, I can click on OK. Now, because I'm doing bar chart here, you can see it's going in um, descending order. So with that, I can click on either of the charts. Once you right click, you sort it again from smallest to largest. Yeah. So with this, I know decoratives has highest quantity sold, followed by furniture, followed by this, followed by that, followed by that, followed by that. Now I think I saw something like date. So that is just how to build charts. So let me come back here again and I saw something like date. Okay, let's work with date. I go here again, pivot chart, then I add it to my data model, click on OK. We are clicking on OK now. I want to work with the date. Now, sales date. I want to see the sales date and know I want to know the unit cost for each date. Let me just put it this way. Now we can see that we have too many dates. Ah, damn. If you are to even do this, now if you look at this now, it shows that from row 125, it's not showing as date again. We are having it as number. So that means our date value is not valid. There's an error there. So how do we do that? We go back to our sales table. We go to where we have sales date. Can you see I've alighted on sales date. You click on date, then I click on short date. So that way I have to refresh data, then refresh all. Once I refresh all, let's wait for it. Let me go back to sheet 3. Let me refresh this as well. Okay, so once I refresh, can you see now? So now date. But still, I can always still work with this date. How about I just work with, okay, this one now is showing me the days of the I'm going to say now, it's showing each day, each day, each day. And if I'm to make visuals with this, it would, to be too rough or something like that. So the best thing for me to do is here, best for me to do here is to make hierarchy. So I can stay on this, then I right click, then I group it. Now, what do I want to group? I want to group by, let me just say by month alone. So I just see that, okay, for January, this is what they have. For February, this is what they have. For March, this is what they have. So you click on just month. Can you see that now? So for months, you're getting that, okay, January has this. I can as well right click on this. I go to my sort from largest to smallest. What did I just do? Okay, okay, since I'm working with months, let me just leave it. Or better still, once we are working with our visuals, we can do anything, anything. But since it's this, let me do this way, Control Z, Control Z. Yeah, let's leave it this way. But then, number format, we are working with currency and we are working with Nigeria. Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. Okay. And we're working with one decimal place. I click on OK. Now, since it is in date, the best graph to use or the best chart to use is your line graph. So I click on my pivot chart, click on line, then I click on OK. So with this now, I can just come here. I already know that, okay, in January, they have 1.1 million. In February, they had just 1.1. In March, they have 1.160. In May, they have 1.11. And in May, they have 1.18. So with this, I can still come here. I can do it this way. But looking at it this way doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah. So I just leave it this way. Yep. So since we have this now, let me just work with those three visuals because I still want to take how to clean data sets using Power Query Editor, and it's already past 12. So let's do that quickly. So let me rename this as sales by month. No, sales by, yeah, by month. Okay. So for this now, we have what do we do here? Product category. Okay. Product cat. Then for this, let's say product unit price. I'm just using anything. Product unit price. Yeah. So now I already have these three. So let's take an instance you want to build a dashboard for an executive dashboard for that. So what you do basically is when I was explaining view, I remove the grid line, I remove the heading, I remove the formula bar. Now I have enough space. So I can easily come here now. I stay here, I press Ctrl C, then I go back to, let me rename this as dashboard. Then I just paste it here, Ctrl V. I can just put it anywhere. I can go to the next one. I come here, I press Ctrl C, I go to my dashboard, I press Ctrl V, making it stay here. Okay. Then I can also take the last one, make sure you are staying on the chart, and Ctrl C. Then you can just come here and you paste it. Let me cancel this. So with this, let me just rearrange it well. Let's have, let's have this. Then okay. So I'm just making this as an example. I'm not working with, I don't want to work with them. So basically, if you want to build a dashboard, that is how you do that. You pick from your sales table. Let's take an instance. What else do you want to do here? Uh, Nothing serious again. Yeah. So this is just that. I can also just come here now. I can insert and I can also add text box. I can make it come this way. And I can make this executive sales summary. I can increase this just to have that. And I can just bring it here. I'm not building dashboard. I'm just showing you. So shape format. Let me just do some mm, shape outline. Let me have blue. Shape fill. So I can just have this as my executive executive sales summary. So I can just have this and yeah, I'm done. Just if I want to have a summary of what the sales or whatever thing looks like. So any question for this? Let me give room for questions now. Okay, that's fine. How about others? Are we fine? Are we good to go? Okay, that's fine. Awesome. So going on to the last one, which is credit card default. Yes, this is where we now do some advanced Excel. Want to work with Power Query Editor now, just for us to transform this data. Now, if you look at this data set, you would see that on row one, we are having x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, which doesn't make any sense. Our real header is this, right? Our header is this. This is what looking at row two now, ID, looking at okay, ID is 1, 2, 3, limit balance, this sex is having 1, 1, 1, 1. So we want to transform this data. We want to make it look more interactive. That when you look at it, you would understand. You understand? So let's go. Let's do that. So with this, you go to data, you click on new query from file now. I'm importing it from my file. So credit card is telling me that I have to. So you click on data. This one is just interpretation of what data looks like. So we don't really need that. So you click on transform data. Let's see what happens. Yes. So now look at the top. We are now on Power Query Editor. We are here. Yes. Now that we have this, okay, your hand is raised. NK, your hand is raised. Okay, so let me take that. So this is the data set, but I really want to clean this data